everyone, and welcome back to Top Tier Arcade. My name is Steve. This is going to be part one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Data East. Mary, come in if you can, please. So this game years ago, if you check my archives, was already done, but the ramp was never available for purchase, and it was kind of, glued, and there's metal parts put in just to kind of keep it together. And now we're going to be replacing that. Marco Specialties finally have that. Mary, if you can check on BSD. Here are the parts we're going to be working with. Brand new ramp, the stickers for the ramp, new casters. There's going to be the clear nylon washers under the plastics just to make sure they don't break. Some new plastics and some new rubbers. See how it says bitchin'? Well, back in the 90s, that was kind of the cool thing to say. And a lot of the vendors and then people that would put it on location would break it. So Mary, if you want to look at the Raphael plastic, that it's always broken where it says bitchin'. So that was broken. I'm going to replace that, clear and wax the Playfield, and we're going to clean the outside. I'm going to first start with changing the casters. They're a bit pitted and rusted, and clean the outside of the cabinet, which is mostly done. And then start to take apart the top of the Playfield and get at that ramp. Let's do it. So the outside of the cabinet is nice and clean. I replaced all the casters. They weren't that bad, but there were some rust on them. And all of the cabinet now outside, nice sheen. Again, I just took Gojo on a paper towel and then wiped it off with a microfiber. There was some residue on the back. Looks great now. There was some tape. And I'll get in here, show you this side here. So the outside cabinet is nice. I did replace or fix two little things. So this light was out. There's lights, but there's a little holder that you twist. It was just loose, so I twisted that. That was out, so I just pushed it back in. Now, next, what we're going to be doing, I'm going to set you up for a nice montage. So now that I've disassembled the part of the top of the play field, I'll show you what we're dealing with. Like I said, it actually is still really good, but I want to get to obviously the parts one as well that I have. A lot of these rubbers barely been even dirtied or even used, just based on where they are on the play field. So I've removed where I can get when it comes to cleaning and waxing the play field. I do have to replace a few plastics. I just have things taped there temporarily. It looks more than it is, only because the ramp takes up so much. But the kind of what I do just to remind myself with pictures is I make my workspace like the play field, kind of know where everything is to make things a bit easier. And there is the new ramp there, and then again there are the parts. So I still have a decent amount to do, but I'm excited it's finally now disassembled. Now I'm going to be able to assemble the ramp. I'm going to show you that momentarily while we get set up, and then start to clean and wax the playfield. So far so good. I've just cleaned and waxed the playfield. Again, as reference, I just used mill wax. Got this from my buddy Eddie, pinballleds.ca. And here's what it looks like top down. Like I said, it was very clean to begin with, but quite a bit of dirt came off, especially from the rubbers that started to deteriorate. But it looks beautiful, nice and clean, and now ready to be repopulated. So before I do that, I'm going to just wipe down any of the parts that I'm going to keep in the plastic. Some of them are going to be replaced. So I think what I'm going to do now is create and make the new ramp, add on any stickers, and we'll go from there. So I've laid out the new ramp. Again, I got this from Marco's Specialties. And there's the new ramp. Here is the old ramp. I mean, huge difference how nice and clean that is. And this is not only dirty, but beat up. So when Adriano, who's a buddy of mine, clear coated the playfield and redid it, again, in my archives, if you're ever curious, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you'll go through Top Tier Tech and you'll see the building of this. Well, he had to reinforce, you can see, he had to reinforce with hot glue or the metal portions just to hold the ramp. And these were all just beat up. And then there's a hole there behind it. Sure, I'll just do that because over the years the ball boof would hit it and hit it. What I'm going to do, I have clear Mylar. I'm going to just cut it and put it around here, just to further protect it over the years. Here is the new stickers. And yes, you have to buy this separately from Marcos. There they are there. And then they don't even come in one package. You have to buy separate ones, which is a bit annoying, but what to do. And I'm going to just re-sticker this on the new ramp and then be ready for reassembly. So I'll be back when that is done. And the ramp now has been assembled and stickered. So here again is the old one. And now here is the new one. Looks great. The only thing I added is, like I said, I have sheets of Mylar and I added it, as you can see, to that curve for preventative maintenance over the years. So then it doesn't, make a hole or prevent it anyways. So it looks beautiful. Everything is now ready to be assembled. The only thing I've done is left these deliberately because I have April O'Neil tied down. And we're going to be adding that later on. So next, I'm going to start to replace the plastics, start to clean all of the rubbers and plastics and replace anything that needs to be replacing. We're going to start to repopulate this beautiful playfield. Started to repopulate the playfields. You can see the apron is now on. Any of the rubbers that needed changing is on. Plastics have been added and switched out. As you can see, there is the missing bitchin' one that was broken deliberately by the operators. So slowly starting to populate. And I'm going to now shortly put on the new ramp, which looks beautiful, and the new toys. And the wire form. So far so good. Just to give you a progress report, all of the plastics have been put back on. All of the rubbers have been also added and or replaced. We're just about ready to add the ramp. I fixated April on the ramp itself with some yellow ties, and then the wire form is going to come on after. So we're just about done, and the top portion of the playfield. So the ramp has been installed and it looks beautiful. Under the playfield, I just tightened some loose screws and nuts that were loose over play over the years, and just cleaned it up. Now I've run into an issue where this is from Marco Specialties and they're great, but the ramp, see these little 2 feet here, normally they slide in easy, but that metal piece is too thick and then doesn't go through, so that's problematic. Yeah, it's just like a millimeter off, because here's the old one and it fits in easily. See, like that. This one does not. This one, it's a little too thick, the metal there, and I don't want to break it because God forbid. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. I think the only way that I can do it, especially installed, is to get a file and kind of file away at that. I mean, I've just cleaned the playfield and waxed it. Mind you, I'm going to put a lot of this down so nothing goes on the playfield permanently, but that's an annoyance, and it's the same on this side, on the green and the ramp. Okay, so I'll be back and yeah, see how I resolve this one. All right, so I was able to get the wire form ramps back on. What I had to do is I took, again, these trusty gardening shears that I've been using for years at work, and because they have a very sharp edge and they're meant for, again, thick branches, I literally got the edge, and I would really kind of cut out the metal, bend it a bit very, very carefully to enough where it fit in, and then obviously I tightened it with screws, and it works well. Now, few bumps and bruises. I ended up blowing a fuse at 5.3. If you guys are ever curious, it's this one, F3, excuse me. And that was the general illumination. What happened was I turned it on to make sure it works, and the spotlight wasn't working, and I was jiggling it, and underneath it came loose and it touched something, and then boom, there goes that. Good thing I have spares. So I'll show you what it looks like now. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles! So everything looks beautiful. Again, I just play tested it. A few little things I have to fix. I have to just solder the one that came off that ended up shorting and blew the fuse. Again, not a big deal. So I have to do that one. This switch, for whatever reason, does not work. So it might be unplugged. I don't know. And then lastly, I have to lift this a bit, because when you hit the ball, it hit, like it nicks this and it comes down. So I have to get spacers or something for more clearance. So I'm going to work on these few things. I have to clean inside. It's actually pretty good because this was my first one, so I've cleaned a lot of it. But I'm going to wipe it down. As you can see, it looks pretty clean already. And I'll put the coin button back. I just have to vacuum some old solder and whatnot. And I'll be back when that's all clean, and when all these bumps and bruises are done, and we can almost hopefully put this one to bed as a part 1 restore. So now the cabinet is fully clean in and out. I repaired small little things that were happening that took longer than it should. The spotlight kept blowing the fuse, and I had to trace it back. It took forever. So F3, if it blows, the lower the playfield. It turns out the spotlight that I had, it came unsoldered, I guess, when I was pulling it, and it was hitting towards one of the metals here, and it kept shorting. Oh, it took forever. You know, the playfield up and down. These Data East don't even have an arm. You have to normally lay it against the head. But the problem is when I did, and I got the topper, that I put a little too close. So I have this paper towel roll just holding it. so it doesn't put a little pressure. And scraped my hand as well pretty badly because he was falling and I had to catch the playfield anyways. So here is the inside of the cabinet. Wiped it down with soapy water. It looks good. And vacuumed it out. And now we're going to install the coin bucket. There we go. I use deoxit on that just lightly. Shines it really nice. And I've also used Peak and then deoxit on the lockdown bar area. That looks really nice and shiny, so it's all clean. Let me now lower the playfield and I'll show you the top of that. All right, so here is the game now all polished and all done up. I'll put the back glass on momentarily, but it looks absolutely beautiful. Let me give you the top down. All polished, all cleaned, brand new ramp, brand new rubbers. Look how shiny that is. Looks great. Added the toys back. They look cool. Okay, so I'm going to now put the back glass back and then put this in place. And then we're off to Bram Stoker's Dracula. And we are done. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Data East. All looking beautiful. Glasses back. Look at that. Nice and bright. Everything works. I'll give you guys a bit of a tip. So before I had like 6 or 7 washers on here and it barely moved. The reason I did that is a trick to this game. It's the only game in pinball back then that had an auto plunger that if you use a rubber tip, it's wrong. Do not remove it, and then metal on metal, it'll push this. And if you don't put a few washers like I do here or have a bigger spring, it would push it too far out, and then when it auto plunges, the multi-ball won't make it up the ramp. So that's a bit of a hack if you're having an issue with that, and that works beautifully. So this concludes part 1 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Data East. Now, the sound on this is very flat. If you see back in the video, it doesn't have a sub. It was replaced by a little speaker. And I was thinking of replacing the speakers in sub because it's very thin, the sound, and you don't really hear it. There's no bass to it. And that's a few $100. And also I was thinking of getting the actual color DMD. This is from Boston Pinball. It's just a green DMD that they made me years ago when my orange one broke. So just before we wrap up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Data East Part 1 video, I have now set up Dracula. Bram Stoker's Dracula is next to be restored. This is a really great example of a game. I got it from my buddy Chris. It doesn't need too much, a few lights to be changed, and just some updates to it. I'm going to be adding inner arc blades. I'm going to be adding crosses to the speakers. I want to change out the apron scorecards. I know these ones are updated and better looking. I have a weird affliction with the old vendor one, so I want to get those. I'm going to add this shooter rod light, which goes right there. Should be a setup that hooks up to the GI. I'm going to add new casters, and that's going to be for a part 1 video. Part 2, eventually what I want to do is set up the color DMD. But before we get there, I'll see you in the next video. This is going to be a great restore. I can't wait. Thanks for checking out Top Tier. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do so. A lot more coming. I can't wait until I use a lot of the chrome peak polish and deoxit hack that I had in my other videos to make this shine. Also use the pinball mill wax on the playfield, clean up anything, and it's going to look magnificent. All the very best, and thanks for checking out Top Tier. Peace.